to inspire the arts in people's hearts. I found that that heals communities. 15 years ago, I developed the Want to Reach program. It was a community-based program that brought the arts and music to 3 schools in the north. I had it set up like a kindergarten for teenagers. There'd be an area for guitar, an area for drums, area for art, area for theater, and an area for dance. I employed local artists and musicians from those communities to come in and inspire those kids. And these were just regular people who had their skills. I was a dog with a bone with this. It was my reaction to the drinking and driving and the fatalities that were going on up there because the kids had nothing to do. I drummed up funding. I created a society dedicated to the youth and the arts. And then I was a roadshow for years to follow. During that time, there were no more fatalities. Not one happened during the time I had my program going on up there. There was an increased graduation rate, as well as an increase in post-secondary enrollment. I think during that time, I developed about 8 to 10 rock bands and country bands in that time. Those kids were holed up in basements, practicing and practicing. They didn't have time for drinking and driving. I had parents telling me I'd changed the whole dynamics of their family life. All of a sudden, they had their child back again. They had a teenager who was alive and happening. In 2008, I moved to Grande Prairie, where I applied the concepts to the kids at Sunrise House, our at-hope kids, or at-risk kids, you might want to call them, as well as developing an Expressive Arts program for Canadian Mental Health Association, where adults could have access as well, adults who recognized they needed healing. So how did this become my passion? This little girl, that's me. When I was a little girl, all I wanted to be was a ballet dancer. That's all I lived and dreamed and thirsted for. This particular picture was taken on my birthday, which is in the first week of January. It was 40 below that day. We couldn't afford flash bulbs, so the picture had to be outside. And you think I was going to put a coat over top that cute little ballet skirt? No way. My legs turned blue. I got over it. So we lived in northern Alberta, actually about 2 hours north of Grande Prairie here. So the likelihood of me becoming a ballet dancer, well, I probably had a better chance of being an astronaut. So I did the next best thing. I picked up a charcoal pencil and began drawing ballet dancers. That was the beginning of my journey into visual arts. So living in the country, and as maybe a lot of you grew up in the country as well, out on a farm, mostly in the bush, there wasn't very much to do with our spare time. So my brothers and I would jump at any opportunity to express our creativity. And we were lucky. We had music in our home. We lusted after music as children. We wore out so many Sears catalogs, pondering over which guitars we would like to buy and drums. We were going to have a band. We were only small children, in fact. I believe one summer we set up a lemonade stand out by the road because we knew we were going to make enough money to buy all that equipment. People weren't that thirsty, I guess. So we tried to learn everything we could learn. My younger brother started drumming on cardboard boxes and those old cardboard ice cream containers. My older brother had discarded a couple 2-string guitars, so we had a band. Yeah, we were writing songs at 7 and 8. course, during it all, I was still drawing. But being in a band had become our thirst. That was our focus. That was our goal. We wanted to be professional. Eventually, that dream came true. So my brothers and my cousin and I, we played for many, many years. My cousin, he went on to be a recording artist. My brothers are both musicians, active. And me, I've got my soapbox here. I'm standing on it right now. None of this could have happened, though, without the support of our parents, especially my mom. She saw our longing and our passion, and she believed in us. And she made sure that we had the resources and the influences and the equipment available to pursue that dream. If we wanted it bad enough, she was going to make sure that we had everything there to do it. But it was up to us to do it. So, as teenagers, we were busy every weekend, going from gig to gig. We had no time to get into trouble, nor did we want to. We were doing what we loved. It was our dream. So it's this lesson of making opportunities available that I'm speaking to today. Einstein said, "Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It only changes forms." Changes forms. Addiction is energy. First, I want to take you back to before the industrial age, a time when survival was the focus of our existence. A time when we lived in tribes. Now, in tribes, there was a ritual for a youth who had reached adolescence, a celebration, a rite of passage, where their strengths were recognized, and they were given an apprenticeship with someone else from the community who had developed that strength and honed that skill. And they could help that child develop their strength and their skill and their passion. Now, apprenticeship is a calling. It gives a feeling of control over your life. You know where you're going. You have a sense of belonging. In today's culture, adolescence is a weird stage. Parents try to manage and control. Teenagers, they're going through this whole new transition. Changes to their body, changes to their thoughts, changes to their emotions. And parents, they think they've lost that cute little girl or boy they used to have. Teenagers, they don't understand things either. They're mostly confused and just trying to muddle the way through things. People are treating them and responding to them differently. Inside, there's still these little kids wanting snack days. They have no idea how to communicate their confusion. And really, aren't we all still that child at the core of our being forever? So confusion's right along, buddy, is anger. They're pushing and questioning normalizations. So some people call this rebellion, but I call it the natural order of things. Rebellion is energy in action, looking to make a statement of, this is who I am. It's about independence. Most communities, drugs and alcohol are the medium by which they make the statement. This does and can lead to addictions and the normalization of addictions. The normalization of addictions. Now that's a thought that we all need to ponder. Whatever your addiction is, whether it be food, shopping, drugs, alcohol, smoking, gambling, judgment, it all takes energy to feed that addiction. We fall into these negative patterns in the absence of opportunities to spend our energies on projects that feed our passion, what we're really meant to be doing. In most communities, sports is readily available, and that's a good thing. But the arts are the first thing cut from the school menu, and that leaves a whole sector of our teenage society with a hole in their soul. We need to provide arts and music opportunities at the community level. We can have our public dollars spent on these. That's our power. It would employ our local artists and musicians and dancers and actors. Imagine having employment for doing what you love and what you do best. And there needs to be access for all community members. Adolescence is where it needs to start, but we've got people in our community today who need access right now. We have people dealing with mental health issues, recovering addicts, the homeless, persons with developmental disabilities, and people who are just wanting to leave isolation gently. We all need playtime to heal from life. It's called connecting with ourselves and with others. I have a passion, and I'm also vulnerable to negative addictions. But I know the more energy I feed my passion, the less energy my negative addictions get. We are all susceptible. It all depends on what's available to us as adolescents for opportunities for exploration. Energy is a currency begging to be spent. If we learn anything from history, it's that we learn nothing from history. It's a favorite quote of mine. So our parents only did the very best that they could do, given the tools that they had and what they were taught by their parents. We can do better. We can take that which built us up and empowered us as a child and gave us a belief in ourselves and pass that on. The rest, the criticism, any demoralization, making us feel bad about ourselves, let's toss it. We don't need to repeat those mistakes. We know it didn't work. We know better now. Opportunity for positive addictions, passions, must be available for our children as well as our community members. If we are going to heal as a society, as a community, then we, as a community, must step up to the plate and provide it. I know it can be done. I know that because I've done it. The negative opportunities are everywhere. Rebellion. Yes, it is rebellion. It's rebellion against boredom and lack of stimulation, is what it is. They have energy that needs to be spent. Let's give them avenues to spend it, free of charge. Learning to explore their creative side, knowing they have a creative side. Anybody who's ever been in any of my expressive arts classes knows that they're not allowed to say, "Oh, I'm not artistic." Because my comeback is, art's a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. Everyone's artistic. So this little girl, she could not be standing here today if she hadn't been afforded the opportunities that she was given growing up, even though ballet wasn't in the cards. Addiction is passion with nowhere else to go. So in closing, I would like to use the words of Gloria Steinem, who, by the way, refers to herself as a hopeaholic. Hey, there's that ick word, only with a positive spin. We have to be conscious of the possibility of change in order to pursue it, to have an open road state of mind, conscious of the possibility. And I think we are. Acceptance, everyone. Acceptance that we can make a difference in our community by providing free arts and music programming for our kids and our community. It can be done. Thank you.